Hi, Lisa Peterson here of Wealth Clinic, and today we're going to be talking about stepping into feelings of enoughness. So you've taken the chakra quiz. It indicated that likely you have an imbalance in the brow chakra. This tunes into your intuition, and it's not saying something so much about the intuition as much as it's saying about the relationship that you have with money. So you can check to see if this is the one that is going to be worthwhile for you to check in with, is if you've ever noticed feelings of struggle with enoughness. So feeling maybe like you're not good enough or the world doesn't offer you enough, stem from feelings like you don't really fit into the world. You know, even that intuition that we have developed, if this is coming up for us, makes us feel like we don't always fit in the world, or we're not necessarily appreciated, and this intuition that we have is not fully embraced and understood by other people. There are some big things that we want to do in the world, that we're here to share our gifts with the world. When we're struggling with enoughness, you can see how that would create a disconnect in our ability to go out and share those gifts with the world, trusting in our own ability to be listened to be fully appreciated, the teachings that we're providing, for example. So if you're like me and my clients, there's a sense that you're knowing that you're really on track to doing something big, but first you've got to step into this enoughness and really understand what's coming up for you. So there's a few ways to know if it's an overactive chakra or an underactive chakra. When it's underactive, this is when you feel like you know so much, and yet there's still issues or challenges coming up in your life, particularly in one of the three core areas: your health and body, your finances, or your relationships. You know, something doesn't seem right still, and you notice that the problems that happen in that area of your life also cross over into the other areas. And you're also kind of avoiding them. Let's face it, like you don't want to deal with it. That's how to know that it's underactive. On the other side, the overactivity, this is when you become so obsessed by the problem that you start beating yourself up about it. The goal of becoming a better person actually turns into self-criticism, hypersensitivity, and these are things that obviously don't really work out too well. If you're going to be really judgmental of yourself, then you're going to be judgmental of the world, and vice versa. So what we're going to do is dive into listening to one of my clients, Deanna, share some of her experiences with the brow chakra, and then we'll come back in and talk some more.
Is almost what I remember about it is that things were okay, but not in my control. And I had done a lot of work to get flow in my life and to not be so stuck and to, find ways through that. But in terms of money, I hadn't been able to do that. And I sort of just ignored it. You know, we were making enough, we're paying the bills, we buy the things that we want, we have to budget and we had to wait, and it always seemed like we were in debt. And so it just was okay. But I also had the sense that there was more waiting for me if I was willing to dive in. And I think I had found, by diving in and finding flow in other areas of my life, that I had the courage now to really look at it in terms of money. And I was pretty sure from my experience with working with you prior to this that this was going to be something really special.
And I want to, because not everybody listening to this will understand the pyramid model, but we are working from lack and scarcity beliefs that start in the root chakra and work all the way up to the crown chakra, which might surprise people because most of the time people think scarcity is coming from these lower chakras. But what my work has shown to me, and I think to the people who follow these teachings, is that it's actually at all levels. It's being cut off from our true, lasting, eternal state of being. So here, making it a little more specific, it would be the intuition combined with money, combined with this state of I am not enough all the way to I am enough. Does that make sense? And any thoughts that come up to you as you think about that spectrum?
There's points that you get caught along the way, and they're kind of blind spots that you don't realize that are there because you are living life. You're taking the kids to school, you're working, you're making dinner, you're working out, you're doing all the things that you're doing in life. So this is a really beautiful way to, through the inquiry and through the meditations and the things that you take us through, to do that in a relatively short period of time in each day, and find anything that's there and uncover it. You shine the light on it. And so when you think of the spectrum of the rainbow, part of what happens with it is that the light hits the earth and the atmosphere in such a way that you get to see all the colors. And it's funny because I don't know, that's just coming to me at this moment. That, it's kind of it's really beautiful when you think about that, because we are shining the light on any of those shadow spots, any of those places that were dark before.
So from the external, maybe this sense of not enough translates into fear of not being enough. So there's some proving that we feel like we have to do, which really starts in the throat and kind of moves up when I always like to think of, the lower chakras, the first three being very kind of grounded energy, oftentimes moving into the heart, which is this air energy, and then moving up to this divine energy of speaking your truth, being intuitive and confident in who you are, and then moving up to the connection to the divine. So philosophically, where did you want to be?
I wanted to be able to think about how I worked with my money and not be afraid of it, to be able to look at it and to intuitively trust myself and know that I had the tools and the wherewithal to do what I want with money and feel confident and comfortable, even though I don't have all the answers. When I think about investing in something, it's kind of scary because I don't know what the market's going to do, whether it's in the stocks or real estate. It used to be real estate was a pretty good bet, but in the recent years, that's a little scarier now. And so we all want to make the right decision. And in making the right decision, you almost feel like you have to know what the outcome is going to be. But the really cool part about the intuition piece is you don't. And in fact, if you only look at it from the information you have right here in this moment, you're missing out on these endless and limitless possibilities that are available
to you. Over the past 3 years, I have been learning how to live in the middle path between these extremes, and I've been helping my clients do the same. You probably got a sense of what's coming up for Deanna, but there's many of us that are struggling with this issue of enoughness. And we realize at some point that until we deal with the conflicts that we're facing, we're not going to be able to be as brilliant with our gifts out into the world, speaking our truth at the throat chakra and then moving into this knowingness, this rock solid knowingness that we are enough and that the world is offering us enough back. So like it or not, there is guilt, shame, regret in our past in some way, shape, or form. It may even just be the lack of being understood by others that really has caused us to create this heaviness that blocks our ability to see our intuition and use it in the way that we can in the work that we're here to do. So when we're able to develop a process that can help us clear this stuff out, we start making some pretty significant changes in our lives. And, the intuition actually grows bigger than we can probably ever imagine, because it's something that we all have access to, but until this stuff is cleared out, it's like a foggy colored lens. It's keeping us from seeing the true reality. I realized that part of running a business is this incredible opportunity to evidence the highest evolution of consciousness and morality. And that if I could clear my crap out, then I could do more good in the world. And this allows me to serve people in a bigger way. So let's go back to Deanna, see what she's got to say about it, and then we'll come back again.
After those 2 times that I looked at myself and I went, oh, this is kind of a pattern that's happening in my life in other ways. So maybe I ought to, take a little harder look at this thing one more time. And that's what I did. And the 3rd time was really the charm. And what I gave myself the gift. While you send it out in a 28-day format, it's taken about 60 days, because life does happen, but it doesn't mean I have to stop. It just is, I'm going to take a little break. I'm still incorporating. You give us some beautiful things to look at and to journal about. And so maybe, one day I didn't do the meditation, but on that day, the next day I would journal. So I would take the time to go through those things. And at first it was a little scary. And then as time went on, I was really looking forward to that inquiry, because I knew that good things were going to come out of that. So even if I was digging into something that was kind of ugly and dark and that I didn't want to look at, then once I shine the light on it, it was going to be really beautiful.
Wonderful. It's so funny, because you don't know what the other videos have been showing, but most people are saying the exact same thing. So like, just to show how we're like letting it all come out here, is that human beings really struggle with new routines. But it sounds like something about the 3rd time is a charm, where get into a way of being. But I loved what you said, that you learned some things about yourself by not doing it. How powerful is that?
Right. Yeah. That's huge, because, rather than beating myself up for it, which, was an old pattern of mine, I would beat myself up, and, that didn't really do a whole lot of good. It's like, no, let's take a look at this. And And here's this little roadmap. And again, I really can't emphasize enough that it's a short amount of time, so it becomes this easy thing to incorporate into your day. So I do it now most days. And if I don't, I still have an abbreviated version that I do in my head on the days that I don't. Sometimes I just have a few minutes. And so I can take what I've learned and even consolidate that into sort of a quickie, if you will, to get up and get rolling, because today I don't have the 15
really
minutes.
Fun, because you're just bringing this inner awareness to your external life, right? Because you watch both. It's a feedback loop, isn't it? You go back and
it is. Yeah.
So the inner world to the outer world and back again.
Right. It's just this effortless flow. By the time, I've come to that point where things are really connected and moving, and I'm not afraid of the dark anymore. I know there's light, and so when I can take it up to the 7th and I get up there, it's this integration that I can just really wholeheartedly sense and feel. But I can almost, see there's, this wheel spinning, and I can feel the energy. And then to be able to bring that integrated energy back down, it's this place that we all want to be most of the time. And we can create it ourselves by this regular practice.
So as we figure out and really know who we are and what we're here to do in this life, as that improves and gets more clarity, what we see is truly amazing. We become such incredible, powerful beings. This feeling of being enough in this moment is incredibly attractive also to other people, because they're like, hey, I want some of that. That sounds great. How I made this shift came down to this meditation and mindfulness practice that Deanna and I were talking about, that I use every single day. It's like an exercise plan that walks you through an emotional car wash every single morning. I've taught myself and hundreds of others to do it. And by combining all that I know about money, having worked in that business for more than 25 years, and then a meditation teacher for more than 15 years, I now have the ability to teach people how to fall in love with themselves in a deeper way so that this enoughness rises up and becomes the thing that guides you more than anything else. The way it works is I send you daily emails for 1 month. Inside of these emails are exact instructions for the 15-minute practice to do that day. The practice guides you through meditation, asks you questions that you can journal on, and what this does is teaches you how to clear out the garbage and step into a more open, loving relationship with money. It teaches you how to let go of the things that are no longer serving you. And because it's not a one-time thing, it's based on repetition, you're learning each and every day how to solidify and improve your relationship with money. If you've ever struggled with meditation, the cool thing here is that you'll be learning how to do it with me right alongside you. I'm there to answer questions. You can write to me. These emails give you a lot of food for thought, but they're really deep. They're really oriented to getting in touch with this aspect, but all of the chakras in unison so that you can be in more flow of all of life. There's also a growing community of abundalinis, which is what we like to call ourselves, just like Deanna, who's in the group, and we're wanting to help each other. So people share their stories, their struggles, their breakthroughs, and we comment and support one another. It's an incredibly safe and trusting environment. You can also do the meditations over and over, the 28-day cycle, if you'd like. A lot of people find that is really helpful for the habits to get formed. So now's your chance. You can join us in receiving infinite abundance. I originally sold the program for $97, but I've decided to lower it to $28 so that there's no barriers for you to try it. I offer a money-back guarantee, and I happily answer questions as you're moving through the process. And who knows, imagine what your life will look like if in 1 month, instead of feeling stress and worry about money and enoughness, you felt peace and hope for the future. Instead of feeling isolated, you're a part of a growing community of like-minded people who support you. And instead of feeling fear, you feel a love for money and how, you can think about how that would affect you and your business going forward. I welcome you to join this transformation, and I can't wait to see you on the other side. All you have to do is go to infiniteabundance.life to enroll. You'll get started right away. You're given access to the education center. There's 3 educational seminars that teach you how to do the practices. Then you get these 30 meditations, a journal that keeps track and keeps you on target, more than 17 hours of coaching videos that show you me, working this magic directly with people, and you can join the Facebook group as well. So, let's face it, we're going to have a relationship with money for the rest of your life. The sooner there's increased clarity and understanding and enoughness, your life is not going to be as good as it could be. So I hope that you come on over, join us, partake in the fun, and I can't wait to see you. Namaste.